Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Social Authority Live, the real estate breakdown. I got my man Casey Huff in the house. What's going on, Casey?
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Just getting it done once again. All right, so Casey and I have been talking about this software for a while, and it's here. The software is here.
I got my man Casey Huff.
So
Yes, sir,
let's talk about what exactly this software does for people and why it's so important. Because the first question people asked was, "Oh my gosh, another marketing software." That's not what this is.
Yeah.
Break down exactly what this does for people's real estate business and their deal flow.
Yeah, so many softwares out there now are focused around lead generation and marketing, and not necessarily what's the word? Man, it's been a long day already. Not necessarily nurturing those leads and then taking them through the process of closing. And so the very first phase that we're bringing to market, we've kind of coined the phrase, lead to deed. And so we have a very simple CRM function. I've had people ask me, why is my CRM better than everybody else's? It's not. They're all the same. We just have one caveat that nobody else, to my knowledge, has. And that's essentially like the no lead left behind. And the way that works is we have a specific pipeline property task that every lead has, and no lead can be completed until you create the next. So many times in my business, we've been super busy. We get downloaded, we're doing our follow-ups and stuff, and a fire pops up out of town on a flip or something, and you just shut down and go. And if you forget to create your next follow-up for that lead, it just slips through the cracks. And then, after time, so many of those times happen, and it's just missed opportunity and revenue for your business. So we have that, and then now we are bringing all of the transaction coordination part in-house. So no longer do you have all of these multiple areas you have to check. So you can do your e-contracting. Properties now, they have their own inbox for emails, and then you're also going to have texting to where you can communicate with the sellers. So you're easily going to be able to identify what forms have been turned in, what forms are pending, and then what forms are missing. So if you're on the road, you want to log in, you want to check on the status of what your TC is doing, you can very easily get up to speed on the status of your deal without chasing and sending 4 emails to title, 4 to the seller, 4 to your acquisitions person. Now everybody can be on the same page instantly. And then the fund management part. This has probably been my most excited piece to build, just because you're able to track your lending, whether you have private investors that are helping you on the deal, your insurance, your accounting. You're essentially able to do a very quick P&L. So you can go in there and customize it, like get off of Google Sheets and get into a software that's going to make it super easy. Once we have the feature to export that report to your CPA and just be done with the click of a button. We also are bringing out a mobile app for documenting pictures whenever you're walking a property. So you're going to be able to have galleries to where you can have an acquisition. Then you can put specific pictures into a disposition folder, and then you can send that link out, if you're a wholesaler and you don't want them seeing the true photos of a property, is what we call, because they like to make those photos look pretty. So yeah, it's just kind of the first phase of a transaction. That's why we call it lead to deed, and putting all of the pieces into one spot.
Dude, yeah. I mean, when you look at all the real estate softwares that are available out there, a lot of them are really good, but what you're talking about is a little bit different than what I've seen. Because like you said, a lot of it is, how do I put all my leads or contacts or people that fill out forms in one place? Or is there an auto dialer, or is there a skip tracing, or is that this? But like, what happens when I lock up a contract? Because I think that people get confused. They think that if you lock up a contract that you automatically are getting paid. That is not the case in real estate.
Man, locking up contracts is the easiest part. And that, so many gurus and people that are selling the courses, right? we can teach people to lock up a contract.
Right.
That's why wholesaling is getting its the bad rap, is because so many people just lock up contracts. But knowing how to underwrite, knowing what the national average for rehabs are, having a rehab calculator in an app, so everybody can kind of lean on that, is definitely, items that we plan to bring to market to not only just lock up contracts, but to lock up deals. That's what's important. Yeah, I can say, yeah, we lock up 40, 50 contracts a month, but if you only close less than 10% of those, I mean, you're wasting money. So, my vision with this was not to be a marketing platform like 99% of the market. I wanted to go after managing the asset. And there's very few that are even attempting to do kind of what we are.
Which is great. And that means that more people are going to need it. Because like you said, there's people all over Facebook doing cold calls, since they saw me producing RJ's stuff 4 years ago of him calling people. Everybody wanted to call people on the internet, which is fine. Mm-hmm. But like, there's always the innovator and there's always the sustainability factor that comes with that person that stays in their one lane. And it's like, you can only be the best at one thing for so long before everybody starts to copy you. And so
no,
that phase
100%.
of let's acquire deals, let's get on YouTube and let's do this, it's come and gone because again, somebody already did it better than everyone else. So now everyone else is like, okay, well, let me get on and call and acquire and this and that. And it's like, whoa. Let's move through the entire process of a deal here. There's some people who run wholesale operations and they can't tell you the X amount of steps that it takes to close a wholesale deal, which is incredible to me because it's like I wrote a book and I even know what the process is. It's in the book.
Yeah.
Like Pat, the MC figured it out. So again, for the outside world that's looking in on real estate investing, they think it's cold calling 8 hours a day because that's what one guy did really well. It's not. There's a whole nother side of the business that you don't see after that contract gets signed on the YouTube live. That part no one sees. That's the part that Casey's talking about. Managing the actual contracted asset. That is the most important part of the whole entire process. Or you don't get paid. Right.
Correct.
I mean, again, I love that stuff. I love the internet stuff. I think that real estate and virtual and digital business is incredible. There's never been a better time than right now to get into real estate. You can totally get assignment fees on contracts. You can totally make money doing this, but you've got to follow through once you get that thing on ink. You got to move that to an end buyer. So let's talk about that process. I've called all day. Let's say it's 11:30 a.m. I've been calling since 6 o'clock. I finally ink a contract. What happens now in your system when my contract comes into your system? This is my contract.
Yeah, so pretty much what you'll be able to do is you're going to add the property to our system. Then you're going to go to the TC part and you're going to do a hard upload of that contract to the software, and then the little red light that needs a sales contract is going to go green, right? And now you can use our system to email title, the seller, and kind of loop everybody in, and then you can start sending out templates that you already have. So if you need a seller payoff, a seller questionnaire, affidavit of heirship, any type of documents that you use for your business, you already preload those into the software. So now you can just e-sign right there, and they're going to go from red to yellow because they're pending completion, right? And then once the seller opens them, starts filling them out, you're going to start getting notifications that the document's being processed on their end. And then once they complete it, it's going to send you a notification, hey, the document's been completed. The workflow is going to go green, and now you no longer need that. Then you can just straight forward it to title with the built-in email that we already have. And then if for some reason a seller is ghosting you, right? TC can sit there and text 3 or 4 times, hey, I need you to fill out the form, Well, me as the acquisitionist or the business owner can go in there, look at the emails and be like, man, I need to get on this seller because they're not responding to title or my TC. And now the acquisitions can take it back to go secure the deal. So many investors, wholesalers, they think the title company is the one that's supposed to do all the work. And that's absolutely the wrong way to do business and probably why most deals fall apart. It's us as the investor to push the deals along and to make the process easy for the sellers.
Yeah, and that's something that people need to think about is how do we make this process easy? I think that so many times we think this process has to be this complicated thing. It does not need to be complicated at all. Number one, you have to have systems in place. I was talking about this yesterday with someone that if you're a new person into the real estate space, the best thing that you can do is get the right systems and the right software and all of that in place first so that you don't start getting on the phone and calling people and spending money and skip tracing and going live on YouTube for 8 hours. Again, we're not telling you not to do all those things. We're telling you you should do all those things. But once you finally have a contract, you don't want to start missing calls. You don't want to start missing things because as you get busier as a solopreneur, trust me, I know this better than probably anybody, is all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, now I got some clients and this doesn't work and that doesn't work and the other work. Those things that you need to make work, that you need to focus on to grow are the things that you need to be working on. And so now what am I going to put in place to handle all these other things that I've been doing that are working so that I can grow? Or you're staying in the same place. And Andy Frisella said this in his email the other day, like maintaining is actually, you're losing. Like there's no such thing as maintaining. We think we're maintaining, but like you're either growing or you're dying. And so in real estate, you know this better than anybody. If your pipeline's not full 60, 90 days out, then in 60 or 90 days, because you're celebrating today's contract, now you have no deals in 60 days. This happens all the time.
Yeah, no, 100%. And to kind of go back on the whole systems thing, one of the things that I wanted to give everybody, once you open an account with us, you pretty much get my business model, right? Obviously, yeah, you got to put the properties, you got to put your own templates, contracts and stuff that you use, but you're essentially getting my pipelines, my stages, my task, my templates, or my actual assets that I use, right? You upload the template. So, contracts, assignments, affidavit verships, all of that. So you just upload what you need. So if you are starting out, right, this probably isn't going to be, there is going to be a financial commitment to use the software because I want to help people doing deals. And if you're not consistently doing deals, then you don't really need a robust system for you to manage time because you have tons of time, right, to get better. So yeah, so that's one of the things that we wanted to integrate. So you don't get a blank account whenever you come on board with us. You pretty much get my systems, and then you can further go customize them to your business and how you like to do it.
Yeah, so it's like a template.
Correct. Yeah. It's my business that we do, anywhere from 15 to 20 deals a month out of. So it's like everybody always asks me, what type of AI this, AI that you have. Like, man, we're old school manual. AI, once we're ready, is just going to make us
faster. That's what I was saying the other day too, is people are asking me about AI and socialauthority.ai and all this. And it's like, listen, man, I mean, if we don't adapt and figure out how to use these tools to produce podcasts and make people's clips and keep people consistent over the next 2 to 5 years, the people that have personal brands are going to get all the deal flow. And this has already been this way for the last 2 to 5 years. So if you started in, 2020, and you were making videos and you were speaking at meetups and doing all the stuff that people do, it's like, well, cool. You have a competitive advantage over everybody because more people know who you are. And again, people get that part confused too. Just because people know who you are because of videos, that can be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on what you post. But we've kept it 100% real estate. And so now when people are looking for a solution, they're going to start moving towards who's active on social, talking about the value, and who's active as an investor doing actual deals. And so, I mean, there's new people getting into real estate every day. I think something like 12 or 15% of agents do 85% of the deals or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, I mean, it's the 80-20 principle,
I mean,
right?
it's astronomical who's doing
20%
deals
does
and who's not.
80%
Right.
of the volume.
Like I could just change my name to real estate investor right now on my Instagram bio, and people would probably believe me. The funny thing is that people who really are investors that I know would probably text me and be like, "You're joking, right?" Because being an actual real estate investor means not only you're investing in you, you're investing in physical pieces of property, you're investing in other people, teams, software, leads, skip tracing, all these little things that you have to pay for. And especially if you're a business owner, you have to pay for all these things so that your team can succeed. And so it's important if you're coming into the game to get around somebody that's got all those systems in place. And so if you're giving people a template, which is what I call it in editing, audio and video editing world, you're going to give me a template that shows me exactly how on a computer screen you're moving 15 to 20 deals a month. That's worth a lot of money to people, because usually back in the day it was Podio or Podio or whatever, and it was like this clunky, junky thing. And I remember pulling that up one day thinking, hey, I wonder, people might be onto something. It was so bad, I just used Google Sheets. Those days are over. Technology has advanced so much since just 5 years ago. And so if you're new to entrepreneurship and you want to make money at home and you want to do it virtual and you want to be with your kids, if you're a mom at home with kids, you could close 3 or 4 deals a month.
You could, yeah, once you had the right systems.
Once you have the right
processes in
systems.
place.
And I know that sounds so fruity and it sounds so insane, but just being around people that I've watched people do that before, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm with my kids, I'm taking calls. Yeah, you're going to be busy. Make no mistake about it. The laundry might not get folded. Okay. It's all good though. But I mean, when that assignment fee comes through and you've got more deals in the pipeline, you're going to be very excited to not worry about the laundry. So
you can pay somebody to do your laundry.
Pay them to do it. And we encourage people to really double down and triple down on investing in themselves, because you cannot be an investor in what anyone else is doing unless you've invested in yourself first. And so I thought that's why that meetup was so fun the other day. I mean, my microphone system didn't want to work. I don't know what was going on with that, but it doesn't matter, because it was still awesome, because it's people doing deals, hanging out, meeting each other, and little stuff like that is what put me on when I didn't know anybody that was doing business. I was just a guy with a guitar. So there's a place at the table for everybody in the real estate community. I truly believe that.
Yeah, it's because it's so vast on strategies and techniques. And I mean, it's, I mean, you get in a room and ask, hey, how do you do deals? And probably everybody's, you can ask 10 people and you're probably going to get 8 different answers.
Right.
So everything works differently for everybody. So,
and that's the thing. It's like you should take everything everyone's doing that's working for them and then figure out what's going to work for you and just apply that stuff. Because if you try and do everything everyone's doing, you're going to get nothing done. But if you figure out exactly what's going to work for you and you apply the winning nuggets that you see from everyone online, nobody's right or wrong. You just have to figure out what works for you. But listen, you can't avoid software anymore. You can't avoid organization or work management or task management or whatever system you're in, a house. We have task management systems for every single video that comes through our system, and we post at least 1 video a day for people. So that's at least 30 videos per person times 15 to 20 people a month. That's a lot of freaking videos. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos per week. Per day that we're posting. And so it's nuts, but when it's all bullet pointed out and everybody's got tasks and it's assigned, it all gets checked off. Somehow it works. So hopefully for everybody out there, you're moving into the 10 to 15 deal a month. And so how can people try out the software if they want to try it?
Yeah, so right now, we're opening up the first round of beta. So the goal is to work out the kinks that we don't know yet. And yeah, so I dropped it on Facebook. I'll tab the company off after this is over with, so folks can go there, interact with the company. There's a form for them to sign up, and then they can hop right in, and we'll get them added.
Dude, I love it. I think that there's so much opportunity here for people to just completely pop off in their investing dream. I mean, people have this dream of working from home and providing for their family, or getting out of that 9-to-5 job, and there's never been a better opportunity than now. You've got all these innovators in these industries using software and AI to make their job easier, and then they're looking around and they're like, this can help tons of other people. And so now all the people that have already been doing deals are finding ways to make it easier on themselves and then offering you the same tools. It's insane. So I remember people, skip tracing was like, oh my gosh, it's got skip tracing inside it. Oh, and I was like, what the hell's a skip trace? Now it's like, if it doesn't have skip tracing or whatever in a marketing platform, obviously it's like, what is this? Mm-hmm. So
yeah, we got some cool stuff coming.
It's amazing.
So I'm excited.
I love it. All right, well, add Casey. Send him a message, get on there. If you're a real estate investor, this is something that you're going to want to incorporate with your team and with your asset management, because we want you to close actual deals, like all the way to the finish line, not just contract stuff. Right.
Yeah.
That's the part.
Deeds, not contracts.
That's the part that never gets shown to you on YouTube. So we want to make sure that you understand that there is more to this than just having a good time on the internet. It's a lot of work. Things go wrong. Title, funding, all these things have got to be in place, and you got to know people that can step in and handle that stuff so that you can acquire more deals. So hit up Casey. Hit me up anytime. We're always around at Social Authority, and we will see you on the next one.
Peace.